You can't teach that. What he's doing this season, averaging over 29 points in his junior year, seeing double teams being physical with him, I think he has all the tools to be successful at the next level. I know a lot of coaches probably spend a lot of time preparing for him, and the biggest jump from his sophomore year to junior year is he's able to adjust to that. So I think college coaches will just leave Walton Ridge after watching Dominique play and just see the ultimate competitor he is on both ends of the floor. You know, he's doing big things now in his junior year, so I can only imagine what's going to take place in his senior year. I think he will be ready to, once he touches the floor freshman year, to make an immediate impact to whatever university is lucky to have him.
This is our third year for Say My Name event, and what is powerful is that we have over 300 girls come from 18 different schools, grades 4.
Greetings and welcome to this week's highlights from across the district. Graduation season kicked off on May 31st, filling our district with excitement and celebration. Columbus City Schools proudly hosted 18 graduation ceremonies and 2 completer ceremonies from our career centers, honoring the achievements of our hardworking students. To our exceptional graduates, you've made it. Your dedication and perseverance have led you to this moment, and we couldn't be prouder. Though we'll miss seeing your smiling faces in our halls and throughout our school communities, we're excited to see all the amazing things you'll accomplish. Congratulations on reaching this milestone. Your CCS family is cheering you on today and always. Recently, Columbus City Schools celebrated the success of our Career Tech Forward program, highlighting the collaborative efforts of teachers, industry partners, and city officials. Teachers developed practical learning activities with industry experts at Fort Hays Career Center and explored advanced programs at OSU in business marketing, IT, and manufacturing, engineering. The Career Tech Forward 2024 Conference and Industry Day provided fresh insights on work-based learning and advanced technologies. Additionally, the STEAM Rising Summer Institute, a collaboration between the City of Columbus, Columbus State Community College, and Ohio State University, ensures equitable STEAM education for K-12 students. Teachers are ready to engage students with cutting-edge science, technology, engineering, the arts, mathematics, and medicine activities. These transformative experiences prepare our students to excel in a technology-driven world, igniting the sparks of creativity and innovation. Together, we're shaping the next generation of innovative leaders. Our Summer Experience Teacher Professional Development Day ignited a spark of inspiration with a dazzling keynote from Misty Copeland, the first African-American female principal dancer with the American Ballet Theater. Copeland shared her journey from a shy child to a dance icon, emphasizing the importance of equitable opportunities in the arts, a core element of our summer experience. Held at the Point at Otterbein, the event showcased the transformative power of the arts, perfectly aligning with our summer experience and STEAM Rising initiatives. Teachers engaged in sessions on math and ELA curriculum, summer logistics, and Canvas overview, equipping them to educate and inspire students through off-site experiences and diverse artistic programs. Each teacher also received a copy of Copeland's book, Bunheads, to bring this inspiration back to their classrooms and ensure the lessons learned resonate throughout the summer and beyond. Let the summer adventures begin. The Columbus City Schools Summer Experience kicked off with high schoolers diving in on June 10th, followed by elementary and middle school students joining the excitement on June 17th. We're sure this will be a memorable summer for our students. Students are discovering that education goes beyond the classroom with in-school sessions and adventures across the city. This summer's immersive experiences will strengthen academic skills and foster social-emotional growth, showing that learning never stops in CCS. Thank you to all the teachers, students, and community partners for making this summer experience unforgettable. Here's to continuing the journey of learning and exploration throughout the summer months. On Saturday, June 15th, Columbus City Schools proudly participated in the Stonewall Columbus Pride March. Students, teachers, staff, district leaders, families, alumni, and allies celebrated diversity and inclusion. The march saw a vibrant turnout, with participants donning special CCS Pride t-shirts. This event highlighted our commitment to supporting our LGBTQ+ students and staff, fostering an environment of acceptance and respect. On the same day, CCS joined the citywide Juneteenth celebration in the heart of Bronzeville, Columbus. Our community gathered to commemorate the historical significance of Juneteenth, marking the freedom of the last enslaved people in the Confederacy. The event featured family-friendly activities, cultural performances, and educational booths. CCS members proudly wore limited edition Juneteenth t-shirts, showing solidarity and support for this vital part of American history. These have been your highlights from around the district for June 18th. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening and welcome to our June 18th regular business meeting of the Columbus City School Board of Education. Please call the roll.
Ms. Adair? Present. Mr. Cole? Ms. Ingalls?
Here.
Vice President Dr. Pierce?
Present.
Ms. Reyes?
Here.
Mr. Simmons? President Vera?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Colleagues, this evening we will have 10 guests here for public comment. We also will have, we are not expecting any other reports. We do have items 10.1 to 25.12 in our consent agenda. We also have a few items under board matters. We also have other legislation in addition to public hearing, and we do have a executive session. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So, motion.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Ingalls?
Yes.
Vice President Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Vera?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. At this time, we will move into public comment. And we will start, let's see here. First person is Tracy Cottrell. Topic, put pause on school closures. Board action, not close schools until they have community input and not outside interests. Good evening, Ms. Cottrell.
Good evening. Good evening, board members. My name is Tracy Cottrell. I not only teach in Columbus City Schools, I am a resident and taxpayer. I'm here to ask this Board of Education to push pause for the school closings. To begin, I'd like to impart some of my wisdom that I've had for the last 28 years as an educator. As an English teacher, my students and I often talk about themes and theme topics, and power is one of them. We identify at lengths that people will go through to gain that power. And so I share what I've witnessed throughout my lifetime, and that is there are two types of people: those who care about themselves and those who care about others. I tell them that people in powerful positions who care about others take that power and use it in a positive way. I also learned that operating a classroom that is democratic is much more effective than when I maybe started out at the beginning of my career. This process begins with communication. A democratic classroom includes allowing students to take some part in decision-making, like asking them how they feel about the agenda for the day, what novel they want to read, or creating class expectations together. An even more democratic learning environment includes partnering with parents. Why does it work? It works because all the stakeholders are involved. So what I'm asking the board to do is partner with the stakeholders. Here's a list of information that I have gathered from the last 3 board meetings that I've been to. Doubt that they're in order, though, because they're only my recollection. A CEA member who is an immigrant shared her story about what it's like to be an immigrant and the great job her school is doing with ELL students. A support staff member read 2 letters from immigrant families whose children are flourishing in some of the schools that are about to be closed. Most of the school closures will leave school deserts. Most of the children who are affected are Black and brown children. A 3rd grader pleaded to keep the school open, talked about how the school is a family and it's a safe place for many of the students. A parent talked about her school supposedly at capacity, yet her daughter is waiting on a waiting list. Another CEA member, who is an immigrant, spoke of her experience, said that many immigrant families had no clue that school was closing and brought a parent to speak while she translated. A high school senior spoke of the importance of her school and her teachers. There was nothing sent to notify ELL parents about the closures and their native tongue. Outside of the board meeting, there were students at Marion Franklin High School who talked about the importance of keeping their school open. Finally, the task force, in my opinion, does not pass the smell test. Why? Because there are no stakeholders. Most are connected to the city, real estate, construction companies, and only a singular religious group. Therefore, I am asking the board members to be the person who cares about others, press pause on the school closure, and include all stakeholders, especially the ones who will be most affected. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Izetta Thomas. Topic: School Facilities Task Force, Board Action, Respect the Voice of the Community. Ms. Thomas, I believe you are joining virtually.
Yes, can you?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
In 1993, I went with my family to one of the best barbecues I've ever attended as a kid. It was at Roosevelt Park on Blackburn Avenue. I watched dozens of people gather, laugh, celebrate, and discuss community. A community that had been shattered in the closing and tearing down of Roosevelt Junior High on that very lot in 1987, without support or input from the driving park community. A community that rebuilt itself every year in fire and in spirit. That same year, I was an 8th grader at Barrett Middle School. 14 years later, I watched its doors close and sit abandoned until sold and developed into tax-abated luxury apartments with a 24-hour Starbucks in the century-old school library. In 1998, I would walk from East High School to Pilgrim Elementary to read to kindergartners as a high school senior and president of Columbus Educators of Tomorrow, only to find Pilgrim's doors closed in 2004, my first year teaching in CCS. That same year, I began teaching at Douglas Alternative Elementary, one of the 2 Arts Impact Elementary schools. A school that closed its doors in 2013, was leased to a charter school for years, then sold in 2020 and demolished in 2023. In 2007, I began teaching at my former elementary school, Deschler, on the South Side until it too was what? Closed in 2010. With one community meeting telling us that our last days were in June, our students would be shifted to Hyle, which closed 2 years later, or Moeller, which closed 2 years later and moved to Southmore Middle. Each closing in my own personal timeline promised equity, more resources, new programs, transformation. Yet here we are again, same promises attached to a process that hasn't proven itself valid yet. So I ask you, how will closing our schools not continue a legacy of foreclosing futures? How will this time be different? How will the South Side survive? What impact will closing the last Arts Impact Elementary School in Columbus have on Ames and Fort Hays in 10 years? Or will you or your predecessors close them too? How many more of our buildings will be labeled as endangered like Pilgrim or sold to the highest bidder like Barrett? Will disinvestment and disruption be your legacy, Dr. Chapman, Christina, Brandon, Sarah, Dr. Pierce, Ramona, Michael, Jennifer, or will you join us in a new journey to true transformation with the community you all chose to serve as your God? These are your notes.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Next, we will hear from Derek Birch. Topic, School Facilities Task Force recommendation. I want the board to reset and take a pause on the final recommendations to the board. Action will speak, or you're here. You will not speak remotely. Sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. My name is Derek Birch. I'm a parent of a future Alpine student. And today I'm actually going to cede my time to Claudia Isla Harris from East High School. She's going to take my 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Claudia Isom Harris. I'm East High alum. Class of 1978 were represented here. I wanted to speak to you on an emotional level. I don't have a speech prepared, but I want to speak to you from the heart. I left Columbus in 1978 after graduating from East for college and then marriage, and I lived in Houston for over 40 years, and now I'm back because of East High. I attended my East High class of 1978 40th anniversary, saw all my friends at the Golden Corral having breakfast, meeting at different parks and carrying on. And I'm telling you, the East High family is strong, committed, it's bonded. It brought me back here. And when you think about it, how could you close East High School? How could you? And the reason why I say that is because when I think back to the 1970s and the parades they'd have coming down Broad and High, that was East High School's drumline leading that parade. And when I think of the In the Know challenges that were on television and everything, East High has a legacy. We're family. And last but not least, I want to say something about the property values. I know that that property there on Broad Street is worth a whole lot of money. And to be frank and honest with you, there are still people in the community, my friends whose children and grandchildren are attending these schools, and the bond is strong. We give the kids a great foundation, not only as a school, but as a community, and to break that up, it would be a tragedy. So please consider that before you close East High. And if you do combine it, it's East High. It's not a school by any other name. We're East High Tigers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Stuart McIntyre. Topic, School Facilities Task Force recommendation. I want the board to pause school closures to engage the community in the decision-making process. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Chapman, members of the board. I'm Stuart McIntyre, a graduate of Centennial High School and father to two future CCS students, although one hasn't been born yet. That's in September. So Columbus has changed a great deal in my lifetime. The short became the short north, the bottoms became Franklinton. The solution to decades of underinvestment in marginalized communities has been over-policing and gentrification. In pursuit of profit, developers have transformed the city, making it wealthier and whiter. And the city hall is happy to see the income tax bill go up. The casualties are history, culture, the ability of working people to afford the cost of living, and of course, our beloved Columbus City Schools. The city's growing, but it's being built for people that don't live here yet. For for the children whose parents fled the suburbs after desegregation and who are now moving back, for Intel and Google workers, not for CCS graduates. The children and families of Columbus City Schools are being left behind. They're not being written into the future imagined by these developers and politicians. They're an afterthought. But not to us. Some look at our school buildings and see valuable real estate rather than valuable children. It's disgusting, but that's what we're all up against. And I see all of us in this room as on the same side. How we landed here, and I'm speaking now to the members of the board and administration, it's not your fault. You give your time, your energy. You sincerely want the best for students. But you'll be judged by the public on the impact of your choices rather than your intentions. If the board finalizes these school closures next week, what will be the consequences? To start, public trust is very low. Between a rushed, flawed, and bewildering task force process and subsequent attempts to silence public criticism, the board, superintendent, and task force are leading us down a path that will likely result in Black, English language learner families, and students with disabilities bearing the brunt of the closings, thousands of families leaving the district for homeschool, charters, and private school vouchers, future cuts and layoffs to staff from decreased enrollment, and further division among community stakeholders. In short, I'm afraid you'll be the architects of a downward spiral for our school district. I don't think these are your intentions, and you don't have to walk us down that path. At this crossroads, you can be the board that leads us to a new era of growth and transformation for Columbus City Schools. But the first step is to pause the process. Listen to what parents and community members are telling you. Do not vote to finalize these recommendations on the 25th. I've talked to so many parents, staff, and community members, and nearly everyone agrees that big decisions do have to be made, including consolidation and restructuring. But you haven't provided a single good reason to rush them. If you make these decisions alone, if you impose them on the community, all of us will pay the price for your mistakes, and you'll be doing the dirty work of the systems that don't value CCS students in the first place. But it doesn't have to be this way. There's time to rebuild trust and to move forward together. Thank the task force for their work. Pause and reset the process next school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Susan Cavendish, topic school closure recommendations. I want the board to pause and get more community engagement before recommending school closures. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Wells. Susan asked me to take my spot, so thank you for hearing me speak. We are all with Lindbergh Elementary School, and these are our children, and Lindbergh is one of the most amazing schools that I could speak of. I'm sure they all are individually amazing in their own way, but my experience with Lindbergh and the teachers and the community is just natural and amazing, and everybody just loves each other, and the kids are just so happy. And I just think closing it would just be really sad to know what it would do for their future and for the teachers who have invested their lives to change the little lives, around them. And there's so many good things going on at Lindbergh. They have a lot of, I don't have it written down, but school clubs.
We stand for the kids. We have a garden club. We have a book club, a math club. As you can see with us, we have small children. They are Lindbergh's future. They are starting. We have second grade, we have kindergarten, we have preschool. They are just starting, and we want to keep them there. We are seeing generation after generation of families coming there. My father-in-law attended Lindbergh Elementary. My nephew attended Lindbergh Elementary, and now I have grandchildren attending there. And we want to continue this because I'm not only one of the parents there. We have lots of parents that way, that they want to. We have very few students that ride a bus. All of our students are from right there in the community. If you shut our school down, who's to say a charter school is going to come in and all of our students from our community are going to go to that charter school? They're not going to be bused to some other school out of their neighborhood. So that's why we want to keep Lindbergh Elementary open for the future, because our children is the future of Lindbergh. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Morel Hanna. Topic, Superintendent's Community Schools Facilities Task Force. I want the board to pause on any decision-making on school closings and consolidations. Reset the process to allow for true community partnership. Good evening.
Good evening, President Vera, Vice President Pierce, members of the board and staff. I'm Marielle Hanal. I'm a parent at CCS, and I'm actually going to cede my time to Ryan, who's a student at Cranbrook.
There's a stool on the side of that podium there.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Today I'm here trying to save kids and teachers from getting shut down and having nothing to do. Why do you want to close an educational and fun program? Do you know that I stayed the whole night thinking, where would I go if Cranbrook was shut down? Also, if you guys split me up with my best friend, my heart will also split up. You are trying to destroy the biggest memories of my life. You are also trying to split a family made of more than 200 students. And thank you for giving me a chance to talk. And the last thing is, have a happy summer.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next, we will hear from Shannon Reagan. Topic is Superintendent's Community Task Force recommendation. I want the board to not close West Broad Elementary School.
Superintendent Dr. Chapman, President Vera, Vice President Dr. Pierce, and school board members, thank you so much for this time this evening. My name is Shannon Regan, and I'm a third grade teacher at West Broad Elementary School. I'm here to advocate for our students and staff at West Broad, and I ask you to pause your decision-making for your recommendations for closing schools. I've been a teacher in Columbus City Schools for 28 years, and all of those 28 years have been at West Broad Elementary. I'm very proud to be able to say that I have spent my entire career at this school. And it comes down to the community and to the students that we all serve. My West Broad family and I have many dedicated staff members. One of our intervention specialist teachers mentioned to me the last week of school that she came to West Broad because she wanted to be a part of the pillar of the community that West Broad has. She's been there for 13 years. We have another staff member that went to West Broad as a child, sent her 3 children to West Broad, and has been a community liaison and instructional assistant for 25 years. One of our kindergarten teachers has been at our school for 20 years and has sent her children there as well. As you can see, our staff loves our community we serve. We love the community, students, and that we are so blessed to be engaged with on a daily basis. Our students are what drives us every single day. Our students have come to call our building their safe place, which is their neighborhood school. West Broad has an enrollment of 400 active students. 125 of those students are English language learners and represent 26 different countries. Again, they have come to trust us to do what's best for our children. Some of our ELL parents have not are not aware of the situation, and once they have heard of regarding the situation, they're not sure how to advocate for themselves. Is this what is considered to be equitable for 31% of our student population? Many of our ELL students have been in our country for a few short months, and for them to learn that we might be considered to be closed is terrifying for them. Over half of our students are walkers, and some do qualify for buses, but many of them choose not to because they would not be able to pick up their sick child if they were not in a community school. They would not be able to be a part of our neighborhood parent-teacher conferences, which have been shown to expand and enrich learning enrichment and tutoring. We have several community partners. The Upper Arlington Rotary has been part of West Broad for over 26 years. This began because a West Broad alumni was part of the Rotary and have begun a strong partnership with us. Huntington National Bank has partnered with West Broad for 47 years. They provide a day early in the school year where they come and send volunteers and help the staff with whatever we need. It could be preparing our classroom. It could be laminating, anything that we ask of them. They also, each department adopts a classroom. They raise money and funds for our students to make sure that everyone goes home with gifts in the Christmas season. We also have several other partner memberships. So, as Dr. Chapman has stated, our school, our community, and our students are at West Broad. Do not cause this to come to an end for them. So it's with a heavy heart that I ask you to be thoughtful and pause your decision-making on your recommendations for closing these trusted schools in our community. We invite you to come and visit our students' second home, and I thank you for the opportunity and your time for this evening.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Luciana Fleming. Topic, the pros of combining schools. Board action, consider merging students into East High School. Good evening.
Good evening. Oh yeah, you can all join me. Good evening, board members. Good evening, Superintendent Chapman. My name is Rushiana Fleming, and I'm a proud graduate of Columbus East High School. I am also a proud teacher in the district. I am a parent of former CCS students. This fall, Columbus East High School will celebrate 127 years in the Columbus community. We are the legacy of the district. Previously, when the district was divided into regions, East High School was given only one feeder school. Franklin Middle School and Monroe Middle School were taken away, which left us with only one feeder middle school. In 10 years' time, East High School was also cut down to minimal classes. We have one art, one foreign language, no drama class, no vocal music, no orchestra, no engineering, no robotics, and no ROTC. There are minimal AP class offerings and minimal CCP classes. The argument is that our enrollment is just above 400 students. But when you only have one feeder middle school and minimal class offerings, enrollment will never exceed the size of the incoming 8th grade class of middle school students. Over the course of the last 4 years, we have also sat with over 300 kids on our waiting list. The building was never provided with the teachers to accommodate more students, and our waiting list was never opened to enroll more students into the building. Those 300 kids would have placed our numbers at above 700. Give us feeder schools, give us our electives back, and give us college and workforce options for classes. 4 years ago, I emailed my proposal and sat in the community forums to make the argument of combining Eastmoor and East High School because of their biomedical program and our health sciences program. It made sense, but my recommendations fell on deaf ears. College deserves a new building and should move into downtown high school, since that building is already conducive for a school with no athletic programs. Putting a school like Cos in our facility with our beautiful gymnasium is a waste of resources. Again, I'm arguing for Eastmoor to merge with us, merge with East High School. East High School has the capacity for 1,000 plus students. So if you combine our 400 plus with Eastmoor's 600 plus, then our building would be back to capacity. Concluding, the students in our community who attend East High School have remained loyal to the school, loyal to the community, and loyal to the Columbus School District. They didn't leave and go find a charter school. They stayed. Don't repay their loyalty by kicking them out of their school and out of their community. Don't change our name. Don't change our legacy, and don't remove our history. Merge with us. If you allow someone to come and stay in your home, you don't sign the deed of your house over to them. The house remains in your name. Columbus East High School is our name. It is not just a building, it is an institution. East High School is a community. East High School is our legacy. East High School is our history and our traditions. East High School is our band. It is our orange and black. It is our tiger. Merge with us. Don't remove us. 127 years strong. We are the district's legacy. Once a tiger, always a tiger. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from John Q. Public. Topic, transparent, accountable, and restore. Board action, do the right thing.
How are we doing today?
Good evening.
1 second, please. I'm disappointed the full board is not here tonight. I'm going to go right through this, basically. The first year of this just needs to be suspended of this whole school closing thing. Explanation of possible closings and issues need to be put down in every language so everybody understands what's going on. Put the signs out in front of the schools for sale, basically. You guys got to meet on a Saturday at the school, meet on a Saturday. Put flyers in the home, send the flyers home, bring the board meeting to that school while that's being discussed. Bring that in. What's the district's plans on trying to keep neighborhoods together and keep schools in a walking distance to where transportation will not be an issue? Some parents can't walk their kids that far. There's health issues to consider. There's lack of sidewalks to consider. A process in which we are talking about closing multiple schools across this district should not be a 2-month plan. It should be a proposed plan that is discussed throughout the school year and at the very minimum at the schools in question after hours and even on the weekends for parents to come in. Not during the day when everybody's working. And some people do have second shifts, so they might need that Saturday. That's the society we live in. We're single-parent households now. The Second Amendment to the Ohio Constitution, the right to alter, reform, or abolish government and repeal special privileges. All political power is inherent to the people. Government is institutions for their equal protection and benefits, and they have the right to alter, reform, or abolish the same whenever they may deem it necessary, and no special privileges or immunities shall ever be granted that may not be altered, revoked, or appealed by the General Assembly. These executive sessions, if they last more than an hour, the next meeting, more speakers. Some type of understanding of what was discussed. We deserve that. I wish Mr. Cole was here. The first time I interacted with Mr. Cole, it was not nice. It was when he was going up against Miss Nana Watson at the library for the tax levy. And last week, at the last meeting, he said the lawyer granted us to release this document. I loved it because he said that we couldn't release how we got our good superintendent. Make it make sense if we were the ones paying the bill. The board members need to show up and show respect to the teachers and the overall public. They need to show up, which they're not. I understand you said Mr. Cole, I believe, was excused. Perfect. Everybody else that's not here, I don't understand. They need to show up, sit down, and put the phones down. First time I spoke here, I gave you a nice little suggestion about the school cutouts. You wrote that down. I appreciate that. Mr. Simmons, he threw a fit the last meeting and walked away. Full disclosure, that's my little cousin. The reason I'm starting to be here now is because of Miss Bethane's, where's her name at? Bethane Sampson. I was going to show a picture, but I was told not to. Because her, you all got a nice present from me.
Okay. Thank you. Last, we will hear from Lois McCampbell. Topic, School Facilities Task Force, pause on school closures. Is Ms. McCampbell here? Okay. Good evening.
Good evening. To the school board members here, I'm here to represent not only East High School, my alumnus, but I'd like to say something. First of all, if you want a better school system, create a better community. These people are all here because they love their community and they want to make it sustainable for their children like they had growing up. People often talk about the negative things that always happen, but we need to focus on the positive. At East High School, we had such pride, and we still have pride. We have history, as the young lady before me said. I've got an alternative for you. I'm a HUD-certified counselor, housing counselor. You have a lot of vacant school buildings that are all over this city. Sell those buildings and create affordable housing that we need so desperately in Columbus. And they're in the areas that we need housing. So please, don't destroy communities, don't destroy our city. Let's build up our school system. Let's make it great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that does conclude public comment for this evening. Colleagues, we will move into our board matters, item 4.1. Tonight, we'll be sharing the committee appointments for the Academic and Facility Alignments Committee. I move to consider item 4.1 to formally recognize these particular members for this committee. Pull that up. And for the Academic and Facility Alignment Committee, we have Board Member Jennifer Adair, chaired by Dr. Pierce, Vice President Pierce, Board Member Jennifer Adair, Michael Cole, Muhammad Ali. How do you say Mr. Bean's name? Joaquin Bean. Elizabeth Kathleen Turner, Elizabeth Keeney, Dr. John Kellogg, Dr. David Levine, Tracy Robinson, and Keisha Whitfield. That is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Ingles?
Yes.
Vice President Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Vera?
Yes.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. And I did want to put, just as a point of clarification, in terms of the Community and Engagement and Advocacy Committee is now and will be chaired by Board Member Michael Cole. Moving on to item 4.2, our Community Board Committee Charters. On March 5th, 2024, the board unanimously passed a resolution establishing new standing committees, including the Policy and Governance Committee, the Academic Facility Alignment Committee, the Equitable and Transparent Resource Management Committee, and the Community Engagement and Advocacy Committee. In the same resolution, the board unanimously resolved that it would ensure that each committee would have a charter setting forth their respective purpose, powers, and duties. Consistent with the resolution, I move to approve each of the committee charters. So item 4.2, that is a motion to approve item 4.2, which will consist of all 4 charters. That is a motion. Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Vice President Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Vera?
Yes.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Ingles?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great. We'll move on to item 4.3. This is actually a resolution for my colleague, Dr. Tina Pierce here. OSBA Board Member Award Nomination. I'm going to read it, even though you didn't want me to. Yes, of course. Whereas Dr. Tina Pierce, a board member at the Columbus City School District, has served the district with distinction, and whereas Dr. Pierce has dedicated her time to the betterment of students and community, and whereas she has proven to be dedicated to the craft of board governance through her commitment to training, service, and governance skills, and whereas such measures have advanced student achievement in the district and improved the governance of the district, and therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of Columbus City School District nominates Dr. Tina Pierce for the Ohio School Board Association's Recognition Award. That is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
President Vera?
Yes.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Ingles?
Yes.
Vice President Dr. Pierce.
Yes.
Motion carries.
You want to say anything?
I do. Just our membership in the Ohio School Board Association has afforded a long-standing history of our school board members to be active and engaged in school board governance, not just for our school, our district, but for the entire state of Ohio. As I have served the past 2 terms, I've also been joined by Jennifer Adair in her service on the Black Caucus. And she has been very innovative in making sure that our student voice is heard throughout the state. And so as I accept this recognition, I accept it on behalf of our entire board, all of our members, past, present, and future to come, that we may continue to serve as role models for good board governance for the OSBA Association.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce. All right, colleagues, we're going to move on to item 4.1. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. Chapman.
Good evening, President Vera.
I know we don't have a formal report, but any updates or any announcements you would like to make?
This week certainly kicked off our summer experience, and we are excited for elementary students. We are excited about our summer experience program across the district. We're providing enriching opportunities to keep our students engaged over the summer. And we also finished up last week our STEAM Rising program for our teachers at the campus of Ohio State University, and an Equity Leadership PD Institute for our leaders across the district, which was amazing. So even though school is out, learning is in, and we're continuing to engage our students and our staff throughout the summer for learning and professional development.
And Dr. Chapman, can you provide any, provide any updates as to what our community can expect in regards to next week's agenda?
Yes, so next week's agenda, the task force will be coming to the board with their final report, with their final recommendations. And so they have certainly looked at the feedback and reviewed the feedback from the community, and they will be providing recommendations, the final recommendations based on feedback from the community, some additional data analysis, and we'll be providing a summary to the board next week.
And that would be next Tuesday,
June 25th, here
p.m.
at 3700 at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Good evening, Internal Auditor O'Connor. How are you, sir?
Good. Good evening, Ms. President Vera. I don't have anything this evening.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Ms. Vanover. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Any updates for us?
I did actually have one positive, happy thing I wanted to share with the group. We got notification last week from Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. I still have trouble getting out of the ODE mode and adding the due part of it. But we got notification last week that as relates to the threshold cost reimbursement, it's previously been called catastrophic costs. They just, as they like to do, change the name so it keeps people on their toes. This is an opportunity for school districts to submit for reimbursement for expenses for our special ed students, categories 2 through 6, above a certain threshold. So anywhere where we're spending more money than they have deemed as the normal threshold, we have the ability to submit for reimbursement. In prior years, we have, as a treasurer's office, have normally just reached out to special ed, hey, help us understand who exceeds those thresholds. We submit on their behalf, and away we go. Last year in the spring when we met with them, we also tapped into some of the expertise with Baker Tilly. As we know, we've had them come speak on a couple of things. And they helped us work through and create a process to help better tap into the expenses that we incur and seek additional reimbursement. So the good news is we are getting 5 times what we have gotten in the past because we have updated our process. We have evaluated it. Historically, what we have done is, again, sought those ones that we knew would be over that and didn't necessarily cast a wide enough net to capture everybody. So the Treasurer's Office, Jordan, Dr. Roush, and then Special Ed, Mickey Nelson and Laura Wolf, they have all been working diligently over the last year to make sure that we are casting a very wide net to capture as much of those expenses and those costs that we are putting out there to try to get more reimbursement. So again, we went from submitting 37 applications last year to 201 this year. We are receiving more in reimbursement this year than we even requested if we'd have gotten 100% last year. So it's just a very positive way to reinforce the fact that we are working collaboratively with all these departments to make sure that we're maximizing the revenues that we can bring in. And again, there are still areas that we've identified as we've worked through it this year that we want to continue to work on, but I wanted to highlight the fact that that came through, and it showed not only good results, but in my opinion, excellent results as to how that went. So I just wanted to share that with the board.
Any questions?
Good work.
Thank you. Yeah, great. Thank you. All right, colleagues, so we are going to move into item 8.1, notice of public hearing on reemployment of retired employees. Notice of public hearing on the reemployment of retired employee Tanya Wewald Duncan. Pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 3309.345, the Columbus Board of Education gives notice that Tanya Wewald Duncan, physical education teacher who retired from Columbus City Schools effective February 28, 2019, is seeking employment with the Columbus City Schools as a physical education teacher effective September 4th, 2024. The board will hold a public hearing on August 6, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the boardroom at 3700 Columbus, Ohio on the issue of Ms. Wewald's reemployment. Each student is highly educated and prepared for leadership and service and empowered for success as a citizen in the global community. Moving on to our consent agenda, which consists of items 10.1 to 25.12. Are there any items a member would like to have removed and voted on individually from the consent agenda? Seeing none, any discussion? Oh, yep.
I do want to thank everybody. 11.1 and 11.2 is a huge opportunity for our district, and I am very, very excited by the plan that is outlined there. For those of you who do not have a computer in front of you, it is a series of transfers, which you can see in some of the board documents, with a letter of intent partnering with the City of Columbus so that we can do important things, so that we can have an indoor aquatics facility in the Mifflin community, so that there is, and that would be owned by the city, my understanding, with an elementary and a middle school right there on site, with a new track and field facility with athletic fields. Of course, that's in phase 3, but there is a really, really cool plan that's outlined there, and I think that that is something that if there's anybody that wants to speak to it, I think that would be great.
Was there a motion?
You're gonna.
Yeah, we need to move first.
Yeah, there wasn't a motion.
Yeah, you have to move. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so
I'll move for approval of the consent agenda.
is there a second?
Second.
We good? President Vera?
Yes.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Ingles?
Yes.
Vice President Dr. Pierce? Yes. Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Simmons?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Board Member Adair.
Thank you. I do want to come back to what Ms. Ingalls was saying. Items 11.1 and 11.2 are extremely important pieces of legislation, and thank board colleagues for consideration on those. I want to speak more to 11.2, as Board Member Ingalls already talked about 11.1. 11.2 is our membership into the Ohio Coalition for Equity and Adequacy of School Funding. Basically what that is a coalition of school boards that is fighting to ensure that we have fair and adequate funding for the common schools here in Ohio, which is a constitutional requirement. And it is targeting Ed Choice vouchers. And so we proudly are the named plaintiff in this lawsuit, and we are leading all other districts in Ohio to fight this on behalf of every single public education student in this state. And I am proud of that fact.
I want to thank the Upper Arlington School District that just, you saw in the media, they just voted to join this fight with us. That is extremely important because they were not part of DeRolf, which is the first wave of school funding. And so I'm glad that we have other districts in our Central Ohio community that are standing up. So please, please, as you are here engaging with us, let's remember too these very important things that are happening down the street that are impacting the way that we can serve this community and fund public education. We must hold our state accountable to ensure that our common education system is funded and money is not siphoned off for the Ed Choice vouchers.
Absolutely.
So thank you, colleagues, for that consideration. Thank you, President Vera.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
We just,
Okay, all right, so we can now vote on it.
no, we already did the vote. We did vote. That was the vote that we just did.
But we didn't vote on items 10.1 to 25.12?
Wasn't, as I say, I
I
believe
thought
that
we,
was the motion.
we voted to pull it for discussion, I thought.
We were at the discussion.
Yeah, but we didn't, we actually approved the consent agenda.
Okay, my apologies.
Yeah.
So the motion and the second was for removing that item.
To have it discussed, correct. So now we need a motion to approve items 10.1 to 25.12. That's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Ingles?
Yes.
Vice President Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Simmons?
Yes.
President Vera?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And then we also have other legislation, which is items 26.1 to 26.4. Is there a motion to approve that legislation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Ms. Ingles?
Yes.
Vice President Dr. Pierce?
Abstaining.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Simmons?
Yes.
President Vera?
Yes.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. At this time, we will motion into executive session, and I will hand it over to Dr. Vice President Pierce for the motion.
Thank you so much, President Vera. I move that the Board of Education recess into executive session per Section 121.22G1 Ohio Revised Code to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of public employees, and per Section 121.22G4 to prepare for, conduct, or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment.
Point of order. The treasurer is confused about the vote on the consent agenda, so I think we need to revisit that to ensure clarity.
No, my confusion is the agenda I have has 3 additional items that need to be voted on.
In
26.2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, 26.
It should have had 26.1, 26.2, 26.3.
They were all voted on together.
26.4. Yes, which
Oh.
is fine. Those are all the Ohio State things. I abstain.
Okay, I did
Everyone
not
else is-
catch that it was in a second.
Yes,
consent
on the
agenda.
other legislation. It's
Gotcha.
26.1 to 26.4.
Okay, all right. Now I understand, and we're good.
Okay, cool.
My
So we just
apologies.
need we did the motion, we just need to call the roll for executive.
Well, we need a second. Did somebody second and I miss it?
Second.
My apologies.
Okay, we got it.
Vice President Dr. Pierce?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Mr. Simmons?
No.
President Vera?
Yes.
Ms. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Ingles?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Well, we will head into executive session. Thank you all for being here this evening.